Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thanks for joining and welcome to Sunday Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, The Pandavas Retire Timely, verse number 14. Before we begin, I would like to start with Radha Madhav prayers, followed by Mangalacharan prayers. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ki Jai. Thank you, Jai Nitai Prabhu. I'd like to start with Mangala Sharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Shanvatam Swakada Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastu Abhadrani Vidunoti Shuhritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Let's start with today's words. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:15-14. Let me share my screen. Okay. Hope you can see my screen. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse number 14. Yad bandhava kuru balabdhim anantaparam eko ratena tatare hamatirya sattvam pratyahritam bahudanam cha maya paresham tejaspadam manimayam cha hritam sirobhya. यद्बान्धव कुरु बलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रतेन ततरेहमतीर्य सत्वं प्रत्याहृतं बहुधनं च मया परेशं तेजस्पदं मणिमयं च हृतं शिरोभ्य यद्बान्धव कुरु बलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रतेन ततरेहमतीर्य सत्वं प्रत्याहृतं बहुधनं च मया परेशं तेजस्पदं मणिमयं च हृतं शिरोभ्य. Hare Krishna Prabhus. Do you want to give a try reciting this verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam. Yad bandhavah kuru balabdim anantaparam eko ratena tatareham hatirya sattvam pratyahritam bahudanam cha maya paresham tejaspadam manimayam cha hritam shirobhyah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Pranita Prabhu.
यद्बन्धवाहुर्बलाबधमनन्तपारम् एको वधेन ततरे अहम् अतिरसत्वम् प्रत्याहारतं बहुधनं च माया परेशं तेजस्पदं मणिमयं च हृतं श्रीयुक्तया.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Someone else would like to recite? Anita Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes Prabhu. Yadbandavaha kuru balabdimanantaparam eko ratena tatare ahamatirya sattvam pratyahritam bahudanam cha maya paresham tejaspadam manimayam cha hritam shirobhyaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Synonyms: Yad Bandhava, by whose friendship only; Kuru Balabdim, the ocean of the military strength of the Kurus; Anantaparam, which was insurmountable; Eka, alone; Ratena, being seated on the chariot; Tatare, was able to cross over; Aham, myself; Atirya, invincible; Satvam, existence; Pratyahritam, drew back; Bahu, very large quantity; Dhanam, wealth; Cha, also; Maya, by my paresham of the enemy; Tejas Padam, source of brilliance; Manimayam, bedecked with jewels; Cha, also; Ritam, taken by force; Sirobhya, from their heads. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I, seated on the chariot, was able to cross over it, and by his grace was I able to regain the cows and also collect by force many helmets of the kings, which were bedecked with jewels that were sources of all brilliance. Purport. On the Kaurava side, there were many stalwart commanders like Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, and Karna, and their military strength was as insurmountable as the great ocean. And yet, it was due to Lord Krishna's grace that Arjuna alone, sitting on the chariot, could manage to vanquish them one after another without difficulty. There were many changes of commanders on the other side, but on the Pandava side, Arjuna alone on the chariot driven by Lord Krishna could manage the whole responsibility of the great war. Similarly, when the Pandavas were living at the palace of Virata incognito, the Kauravas picked a quarrel with King Virata and decided to take away his large number of cows. While they were taking away the cows, Arjuna fought with them incognito and was able to regain the cows along with some booty taken by force. The jewels set on the turbans of the royal order, Arjuna remembered that all this was possible by the grace of the Lord. Translation. Translation one more time. The military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I, seated on the chariot, was able to cross over it, and by only his grace was I able to regain the cows, and also collect by force many helmets of the kings, which were bedecked with jewels that were sources of all brilliance. Hare Krishna. Once again, thank you for joining. This verse appears in the context of Arjuna's lamentation after Lord Krishna's departure from this world. Last couple of verses we have been discussing about Arjuna remembering Krishna's presence. Arjuna is reflecting on his own glories and victories, and definitely he's not glorifying, or he's not reflecting on his glories and victories out of pride, but with deep humility and attributing every success on the mercy of Lord Krishna. Before we explore this particular verse, text 14, let's step back and discuss what has happened so far in this chapter. The Pandavas retired timely. Shuta Goswami tells us that Arjuna's heart is dried up. His eyes are smeared with tears. That's what we read in the first three verses. And because of Krishna's departure from this world, he can hardly speak, and he's overwhelmed by love for Krishna. He remembers Krishna, what all things Krishna helped him. Krishna drove his chariot. He shared his secret, and Krishna blessed Arjuna in various occasions. And Arjuna says that without Krishna, my power is gone, and the world feels empty, like a body without a life. But then Arjuna also remembers Krishna's blessings. He thinks of his various victories from the last couple of verses, from 7 to 13, and all that is because of Krishna. If we look back last couple of verses, it can be winning Draupadi's hand by shooting the fish target, or defeating Indra to burn the Kandava forest and build a grand hall, helping Bhima kill Jarasandha, and saving Draupadi's honor when enemies shamed her. In fact, he protected the Pandavas from Durvasa Muni's trick by Krishna accepting their food, and also earning weapons from Lord Shiva and visiting heaven. Even last week, we discussed about the demon Nivata Kavacha. Uh, Arjuna defeated the demon Nivata Kavacha to save the demigods. In fact, like last couple of verses, it talks about various wins or victories Arjuna has gained, and he's attributing every win is because of Krishna's mercy. Now, without him, Arjuna feels weak, and that leads us to this particular verse, text 14, where he shares more about Krishna's help. And this verse is a beautiful meditation on dependence on Krishna. The central message of this theme is that no obstacle, if you can see, the Kauravas' army is insurmountable. But and that is kind of a big obstacle. But no matter how insurmountable, can stand in the way of a devotee who has taken shelter of Lord Krishna. Here, the Kauravas' army is described as Kuru Balabdim Anantaparam, an ocean without an end, which is filled with invincible warriors. Uh, it's filled with Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and Karna. But the other side, Arjuna is all alone. And that's where Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that it was Krishna's presence as Arjuna's friend and charioteer that made the impossible possible. Similarly, in our life, material existence is like an ocean of challenges. It can be family problems or financial problems, health issues, or any kind of spiritual doubts. Alone, we are powerless. But with Krishna's guidance, we can overcome anything. That's where Arjuna is teaching a great lesson through this verse. Arjuna is teaching time and again the power of surrender and the power of humility. Despite his unparalleled skill as an archer, he is the great archer, but Arjuna never claimed credit for his victories. He says, by his friendship, I was able to cross over. Srila Prabhupada often stresses that a devotee's success lies in acting as Krishna's instrument, nimitta matram bhavasavya sachim. Once again, this verse reminds us that in our daily lives, we may achieve success in our careers, studies, or spiritual practices, but one must always remember that it is Krishna who empowers us. In fact, a couple of weeks back, when we discussed about chapter 5, all the skills, talents, abilities, resources is through Krishna. One must always remember that Krishna is the power star and he is the one who empowers us. And if one has that kind of pride in any kind of achievement or victories, that is a trap of Maya. But one thing which is keeps us grounded in devotional service is the gratitude towards Krishna and what he has given. Now we'll try to explore this verse to make this verse more inspiring. I'll try to make an attempt to explore more of it through three key themes. I'll bring up a slide deck here. I would like to explore this verse with three key themes, three C's. As you can see in this verse, the mainly talks about cows, crowns, the helmets which Arjuna won from the other kings, and the clashes. It can be external battles or internal battles. These elements encapsulate the material and spiritual lessons of this verse, showing us and helping us navigate life's challenges with Krishna's guidance. The first theme in this verse is the cows. Cows are usually the symbol of wealth and duty. And this particular verse talks about how Arjuna records cows of Virata. This is during the Virata Parva incident, while they are living in incognito at King's Virata's palace. And if you can see that the particular line which talks about the cows is Pratyahritam Bahudanam Chamaya Paresham. I was able to regain the cows and large amounts of wealth from the enemy. So, in order to know how Arjuna protected cows, let's explore or take some deep dive into the Virata Parva incident, where we'll see how Arjuna protected the cows in Virata Parva. So, when Pandavas were in the last year of exile, which is the time of hardship for them, they were in a secrecy. But all they have is that faith in Krishna. After losing their kingdom in the game of dice, the five brothers Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, and their wife Draupadi were sent into exile. They already spent 12 years in the forest, Aranyavasa, and now the last year, 13th year, it's Ajnatavasa. They are in incognito. They are hiding. And again, if anyone recognizes them, during the last year, they would repeat the entire exile, which is again 12 years they need to spend in forest and then incognito. So in order to stay hidden or incognito, they went to the kingdom of Matsya ruled by King Virata. So here you can see King Virata and his wife Sudeshna and the five Pandavas. Each of them took a disguise. So all five Pandavas and Draupadi has hidden their original identity and took different roles. If you can see in this image, Yudhishthira became Kanka, a Brahmin advisor skilled in dice. And Bhima became Ballava, a cook and wrestler, the favorite thing for Bhima. And whereas Nakula, his identity is as Granthi, who used to look after the horses. And Sahadeva as Tantipala, who used to take care of the cattle cows. And Draupadi became Sairendri. It's a job where she's a maid servant to Queen Sudeshna. Arjuna chose the most surprising disguise here. If you can see, he's dressed up in a women's dress, or he dressed up in a sari. And his name was Bruhanala, a eunuch and a dance teacher to Princess Uttara. In this role, he hid his the warrior nature, and showing humility and trusting Krishna's plan. And almost it was like throughout the year, they quietly did their respective jobs under Matsya in Matsya kingdom under King Virata, to avoid any kind of suspicion. But again, if their identity is revealed, again they need to do the entire exile one more time. So during this last year of exile under King Virata, Draupadi faced trouble from Kichaka, who is the brother-in-law of King Virata, or brother of Queen Sudeshna. The Kichaka was also the commander of the army who tried to harass her. And that's when Bhima killed Kichaka to protect her, which risked them almost like exposing their true identity. But still, Pandava stayed strong, remembering Krishna's promise to guide them. And during this time, uh, almost towards the end of their incognito, Kauravas led by Duryodhana suspected that Pandavas were in Matsya, because someone heard that one lady is having five husbands, and they are taking shelter under King Virata. And King Duryodhana, basically Kauravas, they joined forces with Trigartas and planned to raid on the kingdom of cows. But Virata was away fighting another battle, so his young son, Prince Bhuminjaya, or also named as Prince Uttara, had to defend the herd. But all the men in the kingdom went for a different battle. So that's when Draupadi suggests to Bhuminjaya that um Brihanala or Arjuna was once Arjuna's charioteer. So he suggested Brihanala's name or Arjuna's name to Bhuminjaya. That's when Bhuminjaya needed a charioteer, but to surprise Brihanala, offered to drive his chariot. And in fact, uh, Bhuminjaya makes fun of Arjuna. Like he laughs. How come a dance teacher can face an army? But that's when Bhuminjaya gets convinced with Draupadi's words, and they finally reach the battlefield. But all this is because um, Arjuna remembered Krishna's word consistently, and doing one's duty without any attachment. He revealed his true identity to the Bhuminjaya and retrieved the Gandiva bow, where all their weapons are kept on a tree. And finally, he faces the mighty Kaurava warriors, Duryodhana, Karma, Bhishma, Drona. Arjuna stayed calm and was able to draw strength from Krishna. And Arjuna was able to fought brilliantly using his arrows, and finally even applying an astra called Sammohan Astra, which doesn't kill anyone, but it stuns the army without any unnecessary killing. So finally, he defeated the Kauravas, rescued the cows, and he was able to get victory. And finally, when he reveals, when all the Pandavas reveals their true identity to the King Virata. So finally, here the victory ended the Pandavas' exile. And in return, King Virata offers his daughter Uttara in marriage to Arjuna's son Abhimanyu. And for Arjuna, this was not just a military win, it was a spiritual one, because he had remembered Krishna throughout the battle. And if you can see in this picture, Arjuna protected all the cows of the King Virata. And if we want to know about the Virata Parva, if we can read more details from Mahabharata retold by Krishna Dharma Prabhu in part 1, the die is cast. From it was the Virata Parva was explained in 5 different chapters from 35 to 39. If someone is interested to know about the Virata Parva details, the details can be found in Vedabase Mahabharata retold by Krishna Dharma Prabhu. And then we'll move on to the next C. It's crowns. Arjuna talks about the shiny helmets, what he got from the other kings in Virata Parva, and other battles he fought. And these jewels showing pride and success. And the particular line in this verse talks about Tejas Padam Manimayam Cha Hritam Sirobhya. Arjuna was able to collect many helmets of the kings, which bedecked with jewels that were sources of brilliance. And not only this Virata Parva battle, there were other battles. In fact, Yudhishthira wanted to do a big Rajasuya sacrifice to please Krishna. Arjuna went to northern kingdoms, fighting strong kings like Bhagadatta. He won gold, jewels, and tributes. They were all big successes, but he never kept those with him. He gave everything to Yudhishthira for Krishna's happiness. He was constantly guided by Krishna. I mean, by seeing this, what can we do? I mean, we all have a job, a work to do. I mean, we can offer our crowns. I mean, it can be anything. Uh, Donate some money, donate our talents to in the service of the Lord. In fact, we have seen many devotees who sincerely doing a lot of services. We have seen devotees who love to paint, making beautiful pictures for the Lord, and someone who enjoys cooking, preparing bhoga for Bhagavan. I've seen many devotees serving in various different ways, using their skills, talents in Krishna service. Ultimately, this theme reminds us to give our success to Krishna. And the last C in this verse is, which talks about the clashes, the battles. In this verse, it reminds about the strength of the opponents, the Kauravas. Kuru balabdim ananta param, an insurmountable ocean of military strength. But how Arjuna was able to face the battle was because of his friendship, Krishna's friendship. He was able to cross this insurmountable ocean single-heartedly. This clash on the battlefield of Kurukshetra symbolizes Arjuna's struggle against this forces of Maya. He was having multiple conflicts in his mind, whether to fight or not. He was in an illusion, but Krishna helped him to come out of that confusion, and he gave clarity. And even Krishna assures Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 1866, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender to me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. This promise was fulfilled on the battlefield, where Krishna's guidance led to Arjuna's victory. If we can apply these clashes in our life, clashes are like challenges we face in our day-to-day life. It can be external, it can be financial struggles, a conflict with others, or internal clashes, like something like doubts or any kind of temptation for any material pleasures. Just as Arjuna faced an ocean of enemies, we face the ocean of material existence, the samsara sagara. This verse reminds me of a wonderful lesson. When facing a clash, be it a personal crisis or any kind of spiritual struggle, like Arjuna did, we can always turn to Krishna. We can read words from Bhagavad Gita, chant with focus, or seek guidance from senior devotees, have sadhu sangha. Srila Prabhupada, who is a great example uh, on this, like he distributed books in the face of in the face of opposition, and that shows Krishna empowers us when we act for his pleasure. For instance, if you are dealing with a difficult colleague or any kind of difficulty, pray to Krishna with patience and wisdom. And all we need to do is just act as instrument, nimitta matram, by responding to Krishna's kindness, and Krishna will give that mercy to us. The best way to fight Maya is, like, Maya is almost like 24 hours on, like a Wi-Fi. But the best way to fight this Maya is to engage in Krishna service with enthusiasm. Again, moving on to conclude and summarize, uh, Arjuna teaches us the three C's. These are not Arjuna's stories; these are our stories. Arjuna protected cows. Here, what are our cows? It can be our devotion, our spiritual wealth, everything which is around us. Uh, and like Arjuna protected cows in the Virata Parva, if we can compare with our modern day world, what can we protect? Protecting our devotion means guarding our devotion, offering our crowns, and whatever gifts we have, like Arjuna giving all his gifts, whatever victories he has got, he offered everything to Krishna. And finally, facing our clashes, like Arjuna against Karna or Duryodhana or various other kings. That means overcoming obstacles is like facing those challenges and trusting Krishna's guidance. Here in this verse, if we can remember, the verse starts with Yad Bandhava. Because of Krishna's friendship, Arjuna was able to do all this. He never took pride in his victories. Even Bhagavad Gita 9:22 says that Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Krishna carries what we lack and preserves what we have. Srila Prabhupada, who's our greatest guide, lived with these three C's. He protected devotion by translating Srimad Bhagavatam, offered his crowns, built various temples across the world, and faced clashes right from he onboarded to Jaladuta till the last moment. But he faced all these clashes because of the strong faith on Krishna. And again, time again, this verse reminds us all we need to do is just be Krishna's instrument, integrating these threes into our devotion. In fact, these three C's depicts the devotee's life. And these three C's, cows, crowns, clashes, form a roadmap for Krishna's continuous, Krishna consciousness living. Protect our spiritual wealth by prioritizing our sadhana and devotion. And whatever abilities, talents we got, whatever victories, offer our material achievements, these crowns to Krishna. That conquers our pride. And finally, relying on Krishna's guidance, and he will remove all those obstacles. Any kind of obstacles, any kind of challenges, Krishna will help us to fight those obstacles if one is sincere and have that gratitude towards Krishna. So with that, I would like to bring up a couple of questions or reflections through this verse. The first one is, I would like to ask myself and every devotee who has joined this call right now, what is your ocean right now? The insurmountable ocean, which you think that impossible, but how can Krishna help you crossing that? Personally, for me, balancing my work stress or responsibilities and managing both our devotional practice, professional life, that is the biggest ocean for me personally. You can also think about what is your ocean right now and how does Krishna can help you in crossing that ocean. And second, whenever you achieve any kind of success or achievement through this material body, how do you remember Krishna's role? It can be a good outcome, whether it can be a work project or you've resolved a great conflict at your workplace or a family, or you recovered from health issues, or one has recovered from health issues. How do we reflect and how do we offer that result to Krishna? All we can say is thank you, this was your arrangement and not mine. Like Arjuna did, maybe we offer that some extra service to Krishna that day. That way we can reflect that we are just an instrument and Krishna is the actual doer. And finally, who are the cows in your life? It can be your personal practice, sadhana, devotion, or the people around you, the helpless who can, uh, the helpless you can protect or serve. It can be other non-devotees, or it can be your parents, or it can be anyone who needs some help. Uh, People might not ask help directly, but we can offer our time, encouragement, or any kind of practical support, knowing that protecting anyone is also protecting dharma in whatever we can do. The fourth question here is, what grounds or achievements could we dedicate to Krishna? We can dedicate our skills in Krishna consciousness. As I said, many of our devotees have different talents. One in making wonderful posters, one in doing artwork, one in cooking. These are all live examples where devotees are able to use their crowns in the service of Lord Krishna. It can be anything. creating devotional content online, helping others, transforming our professional strength, whatever skills we have learned through our academics or through our job, bringing those into the spiritual path and offering it to Krishna. And finally, in this path, which is harder for you? It can be outer challenges or inner doubts. For me, inner doubts are harder because external problems are pretty visible. We can make a plan, but inner doubts are the toughest thing. But how can we listen those inner doubts, and who can guide us? But ultimately, Krishna, Guru, Sadhu, they can help us in clearing our inner doubts. It can be reading Bhagavad Gita and remembering Arjuna's transformation to hear that inner voice. With that, I would like to conclude and ask for any kind of realizations, any corrections. I'm sorry if I spoke anything mistakenly. That is because of my ignorance. I'm sorry, it's a short session, but these are the three things which I try to meditate and share my reflections. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vidagdha Madhava, for putting all this together nicely and also trying to extend the instruction for us in this life. So Prabhuji has left about 19 minutes, is that right?
Yes, Prabhu.
For our conversation. So do you want to moderate? Do you want to, or do you want devotees to just open up their mic and speak?
Yeah, open mic, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, dear devotees, you're there. Go ahead if you feel comfortable sharing. Do you want to share your questions
Yeah, sure.
or reflections? Sorry. Can you guys, okay? All the devotees, if you can share.
Hare Krishna.
Don't be shy. You can do it. There's not a right or wrong here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danutpana, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Very beautiful lecture, Prabhuji. I can see the amount of time you have meditated on the verse and the three. You went in detail and the background of each one of those pastimes and how it is relevant to us, how we can apply. And ultimately, the icing on the cake was how Srila Prabhupada, he exemplified each one of these. So very beautiful, very wonderful. It was like a poetry from the starting to the end. Thank you so much.
Wait, Jonathan, you're supposed. Are you going to do the reflections?
Uh, no, I will let other devotees speak probably towards the end.
Probably you can break the ice, Prabhu. You can choose one question and share your reflection if possible.
Okay.
Sorry to put you on spot.
Okay, it's okay. Like the clashes, let's say, which is harder for you, outer challenges or inner doubts. So for me, they both are kind of connected because whenever an outer challenge comes, then um, it's the way our our mentality towards that challenge. It's what defines who we are, and the challenges ultimately result in inner challenges as well. Um, so yeah, for me, deep diving into Shastras under the guidance of devotees, getting clarifications, the inner strength or the clarity that we get internally, that reflects externally as well. Because um, as we grow in terms of resolving philosophical doubts and building our understanding, that naturally comes out in terms of how we handle the challenges. So the clashes, that's one way I have seen myself in the past. How it's a long journey. I'm just starting in this. Yeah, that's all, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Jainitai Prabhu. Thanks you for sharing that. When I mentioned that inner doubts are always harder, and definitely the journey has begun. Only thing is, and when by help of Guru Gauranga and sadhus, we can definitely help resolve those inner conflicts. Like, and as we just discussed, Arjuna has transformed. But only thing is, one should be sincere and humble in their endeavor. That's what the realization which I got from Arjuna. Arjuna is the greatest example for us. Thanks, Jainitai Prabhu. Does anyone else wants
Hare
to share?
Krishna Prabhu, can
Hare
you
Krishna.
hear me?
Yes, Mataji. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. It's always a very wonderful class, and the way you summarized it with the 3 key points, 3 C's, very easy to understand and remember always. I was just reflecting on some of your questions here, and yeah, my ocean right now is like having a 3-year-old, and I'm finding it very hard to manage time for my sadhana versus work versus taking care of her and so on. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I'm facing, and I'm trying to every day I'm praying to Krishna to somehow I know that this is temporary. Everything is temporary in this material world, but still, Bhagwan to give me more strength so that my sadhana does not take a hit, and. The other thing, when I thought about the cows in my life, the first thing that came to my mind was Meenakshi, of course, because she's very small, and it's mine and Vivek Prabhu's responsibility to mold her into a great devotee of the Lord, to always be at the shelter of His lotus feet. She's very small. I mean, that's why I think. It's a bigger responsibility on us because I was not born into the movement, right? I came late, but for kids, all in the congregation, it's very different for them. A lot of that, I see how wonderfully blessed they are, and it gives me a lot of motivation. And I think it's my responsibility to make sure that I give everything that I can to give her a Krishna conscious upbringing, and then the rest, of course, I have to leave everything to Bhagwan. But yeah, this is what came to my mind, Prabhu, when I saw your questions. Just wanted to share. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing your realization. In fact, like you touched on 2 questions. What is your ocean right now? You mentioned about Meenakshi and your cows. And one way, as you mentioned, the journey has begun, and one step at a time. That's what I learned from my guru. And I mean, you are trying to raise a kid in Krishna consciousness. That is also your practice, right? I see your sincerity in your practice, and I wish you continue your sadhana with sincerity, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Does anyone wants to share? We have 12 more minutes.
Hi, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Mataji.
you so much for the wonderful class. So sorry I joined a little late, but it was so good listening to how you kind of summarized and the reflections after the class. I'm going to go back and read the verse because I missed the initial part. So I just wanted to talk about when you win or succeed, how you remembered Krishna. So I just wanted to share my personal uh, experience last week. So I had a race to go run in the morning, like on a Sunday. I heard Mangla Arati while I was driving and going to the race, and I just chanted the same Mangala Arti and the same tunes all the way through the race. And after a point, I was not able to go. I was just didn't have energy to go anymore. So, but I just felt like, okay, I'm just going to breathe and chant more and see how I can get to the finish line. And I did so. And as I finished the finish line, it was absolutely Krishna. It was not me who finished the race. So the way I offered, like after I finished the race, was to chant. Like I did my 16 rounds, but I chanted a round extra to offer. Like that's all I could do to as an offering for helping me succeed in what I was doing. That's all for me.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Thanks for sharing that personal and practical example from your life, or recent example, and how do you offer your success to Krishna. Does anyone wants? I don't want to put anyone on spot. Like we still have 10 more minutes. Anyone can share their realizations. Hare Krishna Prabhus. There are no further questions. Can we wrap up? Hare Krishna.
I think if there's no further questions, I think we can wrap up. Once again, thank you for going over the verse carefully and reciting from Mahabharata descriptions, and then the practical applications of this verse, or the questions that should elicit. Success in life is based on the questions that we ask, and the key is to ask the most helpful and meaningful questions. So these are all meaningful, devotionally filled questions. So that's wonderful. Vanchakalpatrabhisya kripasantaveyo chapatitanam pavanabhyo vashabhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktan ki jai, Tagore Premanandi. So hope everybody has a wonderful day. Please join us in the temple for Sunday feast if you can. Thank you. Thank you to all the wonderful devotees that also assisted yesterday in various sevas. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Can we end at this point?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.